Is there a reason why you should be picking a petrol or a diesel or an electric as your first?
Should you be buying an electric as your first?
Yeah.
All of this comes down to, we should talk about that first. What are your needs? That should be clearly defined. People end up running around in circles, thinking about which car to buy.
Yeah.
Because they're not clear about what they want, what they actually need and want. Right? Let's be very clear about this. Car buying is an emotional decision. It's not a purely logical decision. And we try to logicify it and try and say that this is absolutely a need and this is what is going to change quality of life or this and that. And you'll justify it in 10 different ways because you want to. But remember, it is an emotional decision, and if it's irrational, it's okay. Just, you don't have to buy something because it's ultra practical, but you actually want something else, which is not as practical, but appeals to you more. Go ahead and do that.
And it may not just be you making that emotional decision.
Correct.
It might be family members.
And which is why that emotional side of it is also a need. It should be looked into. So when we are talking about buying an electric is the easiest example today given that diesel options are far fewer now. You will say an electric is it is the solution for me.
Okay.
Is it? I don't know, right? Because for an electric to make sense, you have to be clocking a lot of kilometers
to recover the initial jump in cost.
Exactly, right? And there are all the other questions about resale and what if scenarios, right? Which for a first time buyer, I don't know if it makes sense. Right? If you say that electric is the way forward, keep in mind, you're using that as an indulgence. It may be your first car. It may be not the most practical choice for you, but if it's going to give you that satisfaction, by all means, go ahead, but do it with your eyes and ears open as to why you've actually chosen that vehicle, right?
Because economically, it might feel like you're spending less money on a daily basis, but you've already paid for this money at purchase. So it's not technically a saving if you don't drive a lot. And you have to assume that a new car driver will drive a lot early in the excitement. But after that, the pattern tends to stabilize and you'll drive what you do. Older car driver who's had a few cars, they'll know their pattern better.
Yeah.
But because you're new, you don't know your pattern. If you turn out to be a heavy driver, EVs are okay. The economics will work out.
It'll have to be really heavy usage, right? So that's the catch. And I don't know if first-time car buyers, first-time car owners are going to be driving that much.
But it's a good thing for them. No, the more you drive, the better you'll get at it.
Sure. I mean, if you're driving...
Practice makes perfect, bro.
And that's also a good question. Practice.
We'll come to practice.
So we'll come to practice as
Petrol
well.
and diesel, do you have a preference for the first car? Or you're saying diesels are on the way out, so it may not be worthwhile?
It's the same thing. I mean, for diesels, it's the same argument. Do you really need a diesel? It comes down to usage. You have to be... You can think about it that ki nahi, zarurat pad sakti hai ye wo, but if you don't see it as a possibility, don't spend the extra money. And looking at how things are for diesel in the future with tighter emission norms, and in Delhi it's already a problem where odd even days and age of vehicle and all of those coming into play when things go bad in terms of pollution, it's a hassle, right? And so therefore a reason to not buy a diesel all the more.
So diesels, you're saying for a first car, not a great idea. EVs, work it out. Economics are not as favorable as you think, and therefore petrol seems to be the default solution for the moment. This will change with time. As EVs become more inexpensive, easier to live with, the system is better understood, resale values become clearer. Then EVs might become a more powerful starting point, but for the moment, petrol.
Yeah. EVs, the one argument you can make is that they're so much simpler and easier to drive and manage and can be fun as well. That is the one argument, but again, that is your emotional side of it. If that's what you want, go for it. Yes, electrics are the future. But our stand on them right now is, well, it's nuanced. You can catch up on the entire conversation on the main MotorInc channel. So head on over there to catch up with it.